Welcome to a new fragrance review. Today we're going to talk about gems from the past. So in today's video, we're going to talk about some really amazing fragrance from the past. And I don't want to go with the really obvious ones, stuff like Polo by Ralph Lauren, for example. I just want to go with stuff that it's a little bit more obscure. If you're in the fragrance community, you might know about some of them. Some of them might be obvious one for you, but for those who are not really in the fragrance community, there should all be new fragrance to you, unless by chance your father or love one of these fragrances. So they're not in any specific order. They are in the order that when I took them from the shelf and I put them where there was space on the table next to me, that's the order it's going to be. And we're going to talk with one that has a little bit of an history. This is my second bottle of Aspen by Coty. Aspen, for many people, it's a clone of Green Irish Tweed. I'm not sure if it tried to imitate Green Irish Tweed or not. I would say probably not, because there's another fragrance by Coty, which actually it's by Davidoff. Just cool water that smells a lot like Aspen. Cool water is one of those obvious ones, and gem from the past. Aspen, it's pretty much similar. I would say the overall smell of Aspen is better. It has a strong, really sharp lemon note inside of it. So if you hate lemon, you're not gonna like it, but probably gonna be better with cool water. With cool water, the aroma chemical used is way more enveloping than the lemon, and it makes the rest of the fragrance easier to smell and enjoy. This fragrance is called Aspen, and it really smells like the air of a mountain. Really great smell, and it's not like smell like air of the mountain, which means nothing. It's really like being Aspen, cleaning your floor with a lemon detergent with the door open. This is what you would be smelling. Great scent, really. It's discontinued, at least was hard to find for a time. Not sure. Try to find it if you can get it for cheap. If you can get it for cheap, like $20 fragrance. Don't pay crazy amount of money for that. You can have cool water instead. That works. Wouldn't pay more like than $50 for this one. Next fragrance on the list, fragrance that was discontinued some time ago and reappeared on the market for some reason, and it's Furyo by Jacques Bogart. Now, a lot of people compare this one to Antaeus by Chanel and Kouros by Yves Saint Laurent. Never had the chance to really try Antaeus. And for Kouros, I smelled it some time ago, and I don't think it's the same, but I haven't tried it on my skin. This fragrance is a nice floral, woody fragrance, really nice mix. Also, it's an animalic fragrance. There's civet inside of it. Really great smell. It's my favorite fragrance to wear in spring. When I wear it, it's really nice and floral. It opens up and it turns into a more oak mossy fragrance. Lasts a long time. Smells amazing. Really love this one. Another fragrance that I would compare it to is 900 by Aramis, which will not be on the list. It's a really nice fragrance. If you like floral fragrance for men, this is the must-have. Like a 900 by Aramis, it's not, I won't say it's the best, but it's the most must-have, definitely. Next fragrance on the list, Giorgio Beverly Hills for Men. Really wonderful fragrance with the loosest cap in the world. It's nice patchouli fragrance with a lot of spice. Amazing scent. It's not super natural, those old school synthetic fragrance, but it's beautifully made. It's really wonderful. And that's another one I really enjoy to wear in spring. It's not like specifically a spring fragrance. Like the other one was kind of floral, and it's thematic that goes well with spring, but this one doesn't have anything. It's spicy, patchouli. It's nice. Some oak moss. It's just great fragrance to wear anytime. I feel it's a bit bright for this time. A lot of those fragrances of that era, like the 80s, and those patchouli intense fragrance or oak moss intense fragrance are really dark, and this one is really bright for patchouli fragrance. Really great scent. Also, next fragrance on the list is Yatagan by Caron, and this is an amazing scent. Pour un homme de Caron is talked a lot. There's a lot of people that know about that other fragrance. This one is way better. Pour un homme de Caron is nice, it's cute. This one is really a masterpiece. It's woody and animalic. There's a note of oak inside of it, which is pretty rare. It's really nice. This fragrance is actually my favorite fragrance to wear in fall, and I exclusively wear it in fall. Maybe one from time to time I'll wear it not in fall because I really enjoy it. But typically that's my go-to fragrance during fall. I really love it. And I often say this, that's the fragrance of a warrior. If you want to have a smell that makes you feel you can achieve everything, that's the fragrance. That's next fragrance on the list, Oscar de la Renta. Pour lui, no, there's a gentleman by Oscar de la Renta that was loved some time ago. Haven't got the chance to smell it. This one, really great. It makes me think of two fragrances. First of all is Aramis by Aramis, one of those masterpieces that don't need to be talked to today because it's too well known. The other one is Polo by Ralph Lauren. I would say it's kind of the fragrance that will sit between the two as fitting kind of halfway in both worlds. It's a great aldehyde intense fragrance and leather intense fragrance. It's really nice. Old school leather fragrance. I'm not sure what time it was created, but it makes me think a lot of pre-70s fragrance from the 50s, 60s, even maybe older than that, but I don't think it's older than that. But really nice fragrance. And this is not an era that people know much about fragrance. The 80s is known. The 70s also, even though a lot of people don't really have a clue what's the 70s. Sometimes they still know fragrance from the 70s, but stuff from the 60s and all. This is not well-known era, and then this one is good. I'm not sure if it was from that era, but it reminds me of that era. A little bit like if you watch my videos often, you might have heard me talk about Polo Blue being the best fragrance from the 90s, even though it's made in 2005. Best fragrance from the 60s, even though it was made. Next fragrance on the list, Fougere Royal by Houbigant. And this, sadly, I just have a little sample, but it's like an official sample from the brand. It's really great scent. And this is something that maybe shouldn't be on the list because it's start to be in the more known territory, even though it's probably something you've never smelled, even if you notice. It's, if you heard the term Fougere as a type fragrance or olfactive family, well, that's the fragrance that gave Fougere its name. And Fougere Royal, it's like a famous fragrance for many reasons. It's yet a way that they made a fragrance that created something new. And there's also the fact that it's the first fragrance that used a synthetic ingredient, which was coumarin. But what makes this fragrance so great is the way it evolved. It's not a linear fragrance. Nowadays, a lot of fragrances are really linear, or they are not necessarily linear, but they're 2, 3 big stage of its life. The opening, then the heart, and then the dry down. It's pretty similar. A lot of fragrances are pretty similar, but this one, like every hour that you're gonna smell it, or maybe even every half hour that you're gonna smell it, it's gonna be different on your skin. From one time, it will smell like lilac, another time it will smell like cinnamon. It's really, really special. It's an olfactive experience. If you get a chance to at least get a sample, you should give it a try. It's a really special fragrance. Next fragrance on the list, one that I talk really often about, and it's Quorum by Antonio Puig. Now, Quorum, you've probably seen it if you live in Canada. Seems like every single shoppers and pharmacie have a bottle of it for sale for $20, but great scent. On the whole list for today, that's my favorite one. Really love to wear it in summer. It's a bit intense for summer, but I love to wear it in summer. Smell like pine, oak moss, tobacco, leather. Great scent. Reminds me a little bit of Polo by Ralph Lauren, if you like that type of fragrance, or other fragrance that feels like it could be one-man show by Jacques Bogart. You're most likely gonna know Polo more. That's a great fragrance from the 80s. Best fragrance from the 80s, according to me. Would it be my number one if it was a top something? And now it's just in random order. And last fragrance on the list, Lapidus Quorum by Ted Lapidus. In the whole list, that's the newest fragrance that I discovered. It's a great fragrance. It's a barbershop fragrance. Remind me a lot of Stetson and Caron. Caron that is not well known, and that could actually be on the list. It's great barbershop fragrance. There's nothing more to say. It's just the way it's blended. It's just beautiful, and it's a cheap fragrance. The whole list, actually, I mean, not the whole list. Like Houbigant is like super expensive, but the rest of the fragrance, they are like cheapy. But feels this one shouldn't be a cheapie. The other one, even Quorum, that I really love. Quorum is just like some synthetic stuff put together, and it's probably the shadow of what it was in the 80s, like many of the fragrances of the 80s. A lot of stuff, a lot of ingredients are not allowed anymore. Though the other ones also smell natural, and it's not a cheapie yet again. So like not expensive, but it's like a normally priced fragrance. This one's a cheapie, but it doesn't deserve to be a cheapie. It's really underrated fragrance. In the whole list, I think that's probably the most underrated fragrance. Really great. Should give it a try. I think it's like not even $10 or something like that. So that's about it for today. Those are my gems from the past. It's some old school fragrance, not really known, that are really amazing. So hope you enjoyed the video. If it's the case, like and share. If you're a big fan of old school fragrance, write in the comment which one is your favorite. So thanks for watching, and see you soon.